What's good, y'all boys, man? What's good, y'all boys, man? Welcome back to another reaction video, man. Ele dobra pra já levar na outra no desse react video, man. Know what I'm saying? Look, smoothie. After I reacted to History of Russia Part 5, man. It got bad. 1917 was one of Russia's worst year. But I seen a video titled The Russian Revolution 1917. It got so bad, man. That boy Nicholas took so many L's. I mean, he signed 2 peace treaties. Badly peace treaties too. You know, one from Japan and one from Britain and France. Those were bad. Even though France and them got in alliance at the end. Well, yeah, at the end. They got an alliance, which kind of, it helped them. But at the same time, Russia did not help themselves. When Russia attacked Germany, they lost about 3, they got about 3 defeats. Even though there was a time they actually got 1 win, but that did not help because they lost about 3 fights so far from what I've seen. They supposedly won 1 when they made an attack, but after that the video said they couldn't make any more attack because their troops were done for. That boy Nicholas tried to, well, he had to be what's the word, abducted. He had to be, because there was, well, some people came together. They said, okay, you got to be abducted, or you know what I'm saying, it's anarchy is going to take over supposedly. And then he tried to make his brother, he tried to pass the throne to his brother, and his brother said, no sir, my boy, what was his name? I forgot his name. You see, it was right on top of my head. Michael's, what was it? Michael. His last name was Michael. He said, no sir, I do not want this. So from him not taking that throne, the Bolshevik, I think Bolshevik came to power, and then, you know what I'm saying, Russia became a republic state, and all of a sudden it was a damn communist. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I hope I explained this well, but I want Russia is right now, I'm gonna just put it at a current state. Russia is in a bad state, so I want to see the revolution in 1917, man. Yo, I want to see this. I am very, very into this, so I need to know what happened like during this 1917 era, because man, they had nobody, the autocracy. There was none of that. That did not exist after that. After that time, that thing, it was like, yeah, this thing is not existent, not no more. Russia fell into a state where they became a whole communist. This shit was crazy. Crazy. Let's go, man. Nicholas II said, I shall never agree to a representative form of government because I consider it harmful to the people whom God has entrusted to my care. My boy, let me tell you, this dude right, no, it's okay. It's jokes, okay? Before I say anything, it's just jokes. If I say anything, it's jokes. I take stuff like this, you know, I'm serious, but I'm trying to make some fun out of it too if I'm gonna react to it, right? This guy right here ain't had no tactics. I'm sorry, bro, but this guy ain't had no tactics when it came to war. Bro ain't had no tactics. He badly loses the war. The fights he went to, he badly loses. He lost about at least 4 fights, at least 5, if anything. Okay, but let's be. I shall never agree to represent a form of government because I consider it harmful to the people. Okay, let's go. That's 1904.
In 1894, Nicholas II became ruler of a Russian empire that stretched from the Baltic to the Pacific, inhabited by 126 million people from 194 ethnic groups. It was a country in which workers and peasants lived in poverty and hardship, while Russia's elite, its imperial family and aristocracy, lived lives of gilded luxury. There was a long history of struggle in Russia, against the injustices of the system.
Alexander, during the Alexander era, there was a lot of Russian serfs, or you can call them slaves. But Alexander called himself, was it Alexander? Yeah, Alexander the Second, to be exact. He called himself a liberator, because he liberated the people who were so-called slaves. But even after that, there were still people who, even after he liberated them, there was no more slaves, no more slavery. There were people who were still suffering from the effect that it had on them because they were still in poverty. So therefore, yeah.
And in 1905, a revolution forced the Tsar to allow the creation of a State Duma, or National Assembly. But its power was limited, and the compromise pleased neither the Tsar nor the reformers.
I want to tell you this right now, man. I love this right here, man.
In 1914, this divided empire was plunged into fresh crisis by World War.
World War One big. That's when World War One also began. What is all this talk about the people's confidence? Let the people merit my confidence.
World War I was a disaster for Tsarist Russia.
It was, very much.
At the front, the country suffered a series of devastating defeats, while at home there were food shortages and economic chaos. The Tsar was held responsible for the crisis. After all, he was now the army's commander-in-chief, and he was standing in the way of government reform. His German-born wife, Empress Alexandra, was even thought to be supporting Germany, while the entire family was said to have...
Germany was an op. Hey, this is modern. This is not 1994. We don't call them opponent no more. They was an op, even though that's the definition of it. They the main enemy. They the main op right now. And yo, why supposedly supporting Germany is crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's some crazy stuff right here.
Have fallen under the spell of a Siberian mystic and faith healer, Grigory Rasputin. In December 1916, Rasputin was murdered by Russian aristocrats.
They said this thing was like, I think they got backdoored by the British because they said the British possibly had something to do with his death. What was it? Yeah, Rasputin death or murdered, however you want to call it, had something to do with the British. But British was also, it probably did because British, there was an alliance with France. But remember, British is a French alliance, not Russia's alliance. In the form of Russia becoming an alliance with France, that means if Russia go to war, if Russia asked for help, France had no choice but to go, right? Now, remember, before they formed that alliance, France and Britain, they had came together and attacked Russia. Remember, in St. Petersburg. And also they had attacked them from the other part, which was Crimea, however you want to call it. I don't know if that's the right name. So therefore, British was not really Russia's alliance. They were France's alliance. So if France going to war, helping Russia, which that means if France needs some help, they're going to call on damn Britain. So I think they probably did have something to do with it.
Possibly with the help of British secret agents. Both groups determined to end his influence over the Tsar. But in the eyes of many, the damage had already been done.
Hey, Siberia, I'll never go there. My braces can't let me talk. Situation serious. There is anarchy in the capital. Government paralyzed. Chaotic shooting in the streets. Okay, by that boy Mikhail Wodzianko, chairman of the State Duma.
On the 23rd of February 1917, thousands of women took to the streets of the Russian capital, Petrograd, to mark International Women's Day and protest over bread shortages.
They need to cook.
The next day, they were
Ain't no
joined
bread to
on
make
the
no soup.
streets by workers and students, carrying placards that read, "Down with the Tsar." Troops ordered to put down the disorder mutinied and joined the protesters instead. Tsarist officials were arrested. Prisons and police stations were attacked. Emblems of Tsarist rule smashed and burned. The government had lost control of the capital. The Tsar was told by his ministers that order could only be restored and Russia saved from military defeat if he gave up power. So, on the 2nd of March, Nicholas agreed to abdicate. In just 10 days, 300 years of Romanov rule had come to an end.
I was going to tell you guys that, but I forgot the name. Mironov, whatever he just said, I forgot to say. I forgot that name. The provisional government does not possess any real power. The provisional government does not possess any real power. Alexander Gushkov. Why he sound like Gushkov? Yeah, that's Russia. Yeah, Minister of War.
The February Revolution had been remarkably swift and bloodless, and hopes were now high for the creation of a more democratic, more just Russian state. Members of the State Duma, the National Assembly, had formed a provisional government, which was to hold power until a constituent assembly was elected, to give Russia a new constitution.
So this is what we already know of. Is that like a review? Because we know the provisional government, like he said, they did not really hold any real power. That's when the Bolshevik were formed, and then there was also another group that was formed before the Bolshevik, I think, which came together, which they became very powerful, which they the one that was really in power, and then that's when Russia became a republic, or you can say a communist. They also became a communist country also.
But in reality, the provisional government shared power with the Petrograd Soviet, a council elected by workers and soldiers that controlled the capital's troops, transport, and communications. The Petrograd Soviet, dominated by the Socialist Revolutionary Party and the Marxist Menshevik Party, was much more radical than the provisional government. Yet it supported the government's decision to continue the war and honor the commitments that Russia had made to the Allies. It was a fateful decision that ultimately played into the hands of one of the smaller parties, the Bolsheviks.
And we're about to take over.
Their leader, Vladimir Lenin, recently returned from 16 years in exile, bitterly opposed the imperialist war. He also demanded the immediate redistribution of land, from rich landowners to peasants, and the transfer of power from the bourgeois provisional government to the people's soviets or councils that were springing up across Russia. The Bolshevik program was summed up in a simple slogan: bread, peace, and land. And as Russia's economic and military crisis deepened, its appeal to the masses grew and grew.
Our tactics, absolute distrust, no support for the provisional government.
In June, a new Russian military offensive ended in disaster, with 400,000 Russian casualties, massive desertions, and the collapse of army morale and discipline. In July, soldiers and sailors in Petrograd mutinied. They were joined in the streets by workers with Bolshevik support. But troops loyal to the provisional government opened fire on the protesters and dispersed the crowds. A police crackdown followed, leading to the arrest of several Bolshevik leaders, including Leon Trotsky, while Lenin, with the help of Joseph Stalin, fled to Finland, traveling with forged papers under the name of Konstantin Ivanov. A socialist and stirring orator named Alexander Kerensky became Russia's new...
This Joseph Stalin. I have a question, Joseph. Why I was thinking this nigga was German. Joseph Joseph Stalin was a Georgian-born Soviet revolutionary and political leader who led the Soviet Union from 1924 until his death in 1953. He held the power as a general secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and chairman of the Council of Ministers of the Soviet Union. Why I've been lied to my whole life? Well, not my whole life. Half of my life. I've been lied to. Why did I thought that Joseph Stalin was German? Am I mistaken? Wait a minute, man. Okay, Stalin was born there. Okay, let me see this. Was born there. Okay, part of the. Okay, he said. Then part of the Tiflis government of the Russian Empire in home, so it makes it great. Russia and Jewish community. He was born as what the frick? So what was his connection with? What was Stalin's connection with Germany? It said in 1939, on the eve of World War II, Joseph Stalin and German Nazi Party dictator Adolf Hitler signed the German-Soviet non-aggression pact. Stalin then proceeded to annex parts of the Poland and Romania, as well as the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. He also launched an invasion of Finland. Now that's some messed up stuff. Okay, this guy, yeah, I want to know the relationship. Okay, they signed the Non-Aggression Act, so that's probably how they came in, and you know what I'm saying, how they came together. So between 1930 and 1941, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union were allies. So they were just groups, and Stalin actually provides very substantial support to Nazi Germany. So when Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June of 1941, this time it was Stalin who is taken by surprise. Because the Soviet Union was forming Russia. Oh, this is freaking crazy. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, this is crazy, bro. This is just crazy. Cause I was trying to figure out why was Stalin in Russia's business. I thought he was supposed to be from Germany, but that's what I've thought, because in my history classes that there was never a mention of him, you know, having to do with Russia. Maybe, I don't know, man. Y'all niggas know you can.
Prime Minister, and was hailed as the man who would save Russia from anarchy.
This is just crazy, man. Hang the German supporters and spies with Lenin at the head. So Stalin, with the help of Stalin, he helped Lenin escape.
The army's commander-in-chief, General Kornilov, believed Russia's war effort was being undermined by chaos at home, and deliberately sabotaged by men like Lenin, whom he declared a German spy. So in August, he ordered his men to march on Petrograd to restore order. Bolsheviks played a leading role in the city's defense against this attempted military coup. Their most brilliant organizer, Leon Trotsky, was released from prison and sent armed Bolshevik militias, the Red Guards, to defend key points in the city.
Why would you arrest them in the first place? Come on.
Strikes by railway workers, many of them Bolshevik supporters, prevented Kornilov from moving his men by rail. and his soldiers began to switch sides, or simply go home. The Kornilov affair cast the Bolsheviks as saviors of the revolution. And by the end of September, they'd gained a majority in the Petrograd Soviet. In October, Lenin decided the time had come. He secretly returned from Finland to Petrograd and began preparing.
Wow, this nigga, this is a bold guy right here. He's bold. This man really went back to Petrograd like nothing happened, or you can say St. Petersburg like nothing happened. Wow.
To seize power.
Y'all better kill him. Y'all better send that boy to Siberia. Come on, man. It would be naive to wait for a formal majority for the Bolsheviks. No revolution ever waits for that. History will not forgive us if we do not assume power now. Bro, what is this Lenin guy, man? He deserves a good slapping, bro. Not gonna lie. He deserves a good slapping.
On the 25th of October, the Bolsheviks made their move. Red Guards and loyal troops seized key points around the capital, and that night they stormed the provisional government's headquarters at the Winter Palace, an event later immortalized by Bolshevik propaganda and the great Soviet filmmaker Sergei Eisenstein. Kerensky fled the city at the last moment, narrowly avoiding capture. And the next day, at the Second All-Russian Congress of Soviets, Lenin announced the overthrow of the provisional government. And the next day, at the Second All-Russian Congress of Soviets, Lenin announced the overthrow of the provisional government.
Okay. The provisional government had something to do with the Soviet Union. How did y'all let Lenin get in power, though? First of all, we don't know the main reason why he fled the country, right? But y'all know that if y'all had suspicion that he was a German spy, why y'all let him? He went back to Petrograd and looking for in trying to seize power. Y'all actually let him get power. He overthrew the provisional government, which personally, they wasn't doing much. They wasn't really in power. Like the first guy said, the provisional government did not have any real power. That was это pravda. But this is just insane, bro. If we are not ready to shoot a saboteur and a white guard, what sort of revolution is that? Nothing but talk and a bowl of mush. This nigga, nah, this is wild though.
The following months saw the Bolsheviks consolidate their hold on power, while fighting a brutal civil war against counter-revolutionary or White Russian forces who had foreign support. Some whites hoped to put Tsar Nicholas back on the throne. After his abdication, Nicholas and his family had been held under guard at Tsar.
This thing was going on between. Okay, so the Russian Revolution. It was during the 1917 era. They had a civil war going on within the people, and there was a World War I, the First World War going on also between Germany and Austria-Hungary going on.
Koye Selo, outside Petrograd, where they occupied themselves with gardening and other diversions. In summer 1917, the family was sent to Tobolsk in Siberia, where they lived under house arrest outside Petrograd, where they occupied themselves with gardening. Abdication, Nicholas back on the throne. After his abdication, Nicholas and his family had been held under guard at Tsarskoye Selo, outside Petrograd, where they occupied themselves with gardening and other diversions. In summer 1917, the family was sent to Tobolsk in Siberia, where they lived under house arrest in the governor's mansion. The following spring, the Bolsheviks had the family moved to Yekaterinburg. In July 1918, as white forces approached the city, Bolshevik soldiers gathered the whole family in a cellar. The Tsar, his wife, their son Alexei, their 4 daughters, Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia, as well as 4 servants, and executed them all.
Wow, okay, bro. I'm stunned. They got executed?
City, Bolshevik soldiers gathered the whole. As white forces approached the city, Bolshevik soldiers gathered the whole family in a cellar. The Tsar, his wife, their son Alexei, their 4 daughters.
Bolsheviks, they executed them. Okay, so they said as the whites approach. So the Bolsheviks, we know that the whites was trying to get Nicholas back on the throne. So Bolsheviks, they wouldn't want that. So therefore, oh Lord.
Daughters, Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia, as well as 4 servants, and executed them all.
That's crazy.
Russia's Civil War was one of the 20th century's most devastating events.
That's some crazy stuff.
An estimated 2 million soldiers lost their lives, while a typhus epidemic and famine claimed the lives of a further 9 million civilians. By the end of 1921, the Bolsheviks had emerged victorious, and under Lenin's determined and uncompromising leadership, set about building a new socialist order. The Soviet Union, created in 1922, emerged as a world superpower following the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. Created in 1922, emerged as a world superpower following the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. But it would always remain a single-party state, where all opposition or dissent was ruthlessly suppressed. Those brief hopes for Russia.
Lenin was not a spy. He came and actually did something good. Okay, let's say I underestimated dude.
Democracy.
Let's say I feel like at the beginning he kind of deserved that slap.
Flowered amid the euphoria of the February Revolution, were extinguished by the Bolshevik October Revolution, and put beyond reach for decades to come. Bridgman Images are the leading supplier of art, culture, and historic images and footage. Representing many of the world's finest museums, collections, and artists, their experts are ready to help with research and copyright for projects ranging from TV and...
This is indeed kind of like mind-blowing. You know, this is indeed mind-blowing, yeah. They have another one that's called Russia's 2 Revolutions. But I'm not going to lie, this is mind-blowing, okay? This is just like this is actually crazy. And I feel like Nicholas' family did not deserve to get executed, to be honest. Even though I feel like he ain't had no tactics. My only issue I had with Nicholas is that he did not really have any tactics when it came to war. Yeah, he lost a couple fights, he lost a couple battles, but I do not think he deserved to get executed. His whole family got executed. But hey man, we're gonna do a reaction to part 2. Stay tuned, man. This is very interesting, very entertaining to me. I'm learning very much about your culture. But yeah, so this is gonna be for this reaction video, man. If you did enjoy watching this, make sure you do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, man, and stay out the way, man, and stay glueful, man. Damn, man, bango, it's damn ad time for TSG Squad channel. Now you could be saying, what is this ad time he talking about? Guess what, gang? we have ads coming to the channel now, man. We have a promotion of TSG merch, man. Today, guys, I'm bringing to you guys TSG merch, a site that I have set up for the longest, about at least 8 months, that I never really promoted. Now, TSG merch is coming to y'all on Spreadshirt, where you guys can customize this shirt, put your name on it, get sweatshirts, you get hoodies, you get t-shirts, however, whichever size you would like, and it will be shipped out to you. Now, if you guys would like to see examples of shirts that we have or hoodies that we have, I could show you guys right now. For example, man, we got this beautiful looking jacket, hoodie with pockets in it. Come on, man, y'all boys could rock that, man. And then after, we got this blue sweater, nice looking sweater with TSG Squad logo, True Spirits Gang in the back end. Y'all boys could rock that. Come on, man. Okay, so we have hoodies, sweatshirts, and t-shirts. You guys could customize it, as in you could put your name in the back. You can put your IG name on it. You could customize it however you would like. Personally like it, you could customize it like that. Now, if you guys do want to support the channel, you guys could hit the link in the description below. You guys will see in the description below, guaranteed. So go ahead and do whatever you want to do. I appreciate the support. If you do buy one, I appreciate it. Now, thank you.